Cooking is very complex. For me, it's a dedication, it's a lot of passion, it's a lot of hard work. It's not for the weak of heart at all. When I'm cooking, I'm connecting with the food. I'm having my little moment of making that dish. It becomes this whole complete package of not just making the guests happy, but making myself happy. My name is Nina Compton. I am the chef owner at Compére Lapin, and this is where Hollywood eats in New Orleans. The story behind Compére Lapin is a folktale that I grew up with in St. Lucia. I kind of wanted to bring the Caribbean to Louisiana and let people know my background. My philosophy for the restaurant was making people feel comfortable. I think a lot of people want to have that neighborhood restaurant, that affordable, approachable, and seasonal. The goal with the restaurant is not to come in and have one dish, it's to have multiple. The idea is to pretty much have a little bit of everything when you come in for dinner. And the way we cook here is very simple, a couple of ingredients, but all of those ingredients shine together. This is actually my favorite dish on the menu. It features local shrimp, beautiful vegetables, and we make a jalapeno cilantro broth, and we pour this tableside. It's really light and refreshing and just full of flavor. And if I'm hungry at the end of the night, I have a double order. When I first thought about opening my restaurant here, I was very nervous. New Orleans is it's a heavyweight culinary destination. And when I came here, it was this overwhelming response. People were hugging me in the street, telling me, thank you for moving here. I watched you on television, and we can't wait to see you open your new restaurant. When we had our opening night, we had a guest. He actually brought his pet bunny with a top hat. People felt like they just have to bring a bunny, like a token of appreciation. We have some from Mexico, we have some from the Caribbean, some from Europe. Every rabbit has a story. People here were really supportive and trying to build me up, and not everywhere would do that, I don't think. It's come a long way. A side note, when we were apartment hunting, there was a place down the street, oh my gosh, I'm like, Larry, that's the one, we're gonna live close to the restaurant. And he's like, no, he's like, I wanna live in this area. Emma Roberts came to the restaurant and we started chit-chatting, and I'm like, oh, where are you staying? She's like, I stay in the CBD, and I'm like, I'm describing the apartment that I almost lived in, and she's like, I live in that apartment, so. Tom Cruise came in. I thought it was a joke. My husband's like, Tom Cruise's people called, they're coming in, and I'm like, I'm not gonna leave until he actually sits in our restaurant. He came and he actually sat on this table over here, and I kind of geeked out a little bit. I think he had a tuna tartare, and I think he had a chicken. He kept it very simple. The film industry is huge here. It gives people jobs, it pumps money into the economy, so it really keeps things moving and fresh and energized. I want my guests to leave challenged a little bit, have them try something like oxtail or guava curry or something different where they'd be like, oh, that sounds like fun, maybe I'll have one of those. This is a dish that I use as a platform to bridge the gap between my upbringing from the Caribbean to where I am now. So today we're gonna make sweet potato gnocchi. We're just gonna mix this up until they're nice and smooth. We're gonna add a little bit of salt. And then we're gonna add some egg yolks. Just make sure everything is really well incorporated. Next, flour, just until it comes together. You don't wanna overwork the dough or it will become really hard. And we're just gonna pipe it out. This is the fun part. It's very soft. It's not very starchy, so we get the sweetness with the spiciness of the goat. A little bit of flour. Just want to roll them again so they don't stick to each other. So now we're just going to cut these up, and then we're going to poach them to complete the dish. After we braise the goat, we take that braising liquid, we refortify it with ginger, onions, turmeric, habaneros, curry leaf, star anise, cardamom, allspice, you name it, everything is in there. All those spices in that sachet are really, really intense and very floral. So when you taste the goat, it's this spicy, creamy, unctuous stew. So this is the goat meat that's already taken off the bone. Head to tail, everything is in there. And then now we add dried tomatoes that we peel, put them in the oven for about 3.5 hours with oregano and rosemary. And that's just for a little bit of sweetness as well. So now these are floating and we're gonna put them in. So we're gonna let these poach in the actual liquid just so as they're cooking, they're soaking up all the flavors of the goat. So now we're gonna finish up with a little bit of toasted cashews. And I like putting nuts to finish the dish because it adds a little bit of texture as well. And then a little bit of fresh cilantro. and that's our curry goat. New Orleans is definitely like St. Lucia. The buildings, the old wooden homes, the bright colors. Mardi Gras, we have Carnival at home as well. So there's a lot of things that we have in common that makes me feel really comfortable here. The city definitely influences me on a daily basis. It just has this charm to it. People love food here. If they're having breakfast, they're talking about lunch. If they're having lunch, they're like, where are we going for dinner tonight? There is no rush here. I'm gonna have wine, I'm going to have cocktails. It's a must. And that is something that people expect here because the cocktails were actually developed in this city. I couldn't half step on that one, I had to deliver on this. So we are giving stracciatella a little bit of a rest tonight. It is replaced by the ricotta. So it's hazelnut, honey, and fresh truffles inside. My staff are very important to me. I mean, I tell people I don't cook every curried goat. I fondly believe in training people very well on what you want, and then you kind of let the foot off the gas. You go through a lot having a restaurant, working 12, 14 hours a day, sometimes 16 hour days. We all go through these things together, and that's the biggest thing for me is how do you break that up? How does it become fun? Change it up, it's Monday night. The moment I knew I fell in love with cooking was when I was working on the line with Norman Van Aken. Saturday night service, chaos, 8 o'clock at night, everybody's screaming and yelling, ticket machines are going off. And I remember I just zoned out for a second. And I started listening to the sounds of cooking. It was just about just connecting with the senses, you know, smelling, tasting, seeing. That moment for me was just like, this is why I want to do it. People go to restaurants and do they really feel like it was worth it? Would you go back a second time? I want my guests to be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to have that curried goat tonight. I want them to feel that moment where you have that craveable sensation where it's like, I want to come back. I'm expanding on Creole cuisine in my own way.